right, so I've told you a story about some of my first encounters with so-called celebrities when I got into this business. And you know the old adage, don't ever meet your idols, and that sort of thing, even though I don't like the word idols. But the reason for that is a lot of famous people really do suck. And sometimes they just suck towards you. And it's not necessarily because they don't like you, but it's because they're constantly dealing with people harassing them. And, eventually they just want their own, want their own space. And that doesn't always happen. So I get into radio. Okay. And shortly after I'm in radio, maybe a couple of weeks, we have a big annual concert that we do. And it's huge. All of the radio stations get involved. It makes the B100 birthday party in the Growl here look like small fry potato stuff, right? Just huge, massive concert in Las Vegas that we do every year. And so everybody gets involved with it. We all have backstage passes and we all help out. And I'm sitting there. There's this really attractive girl who's, I don't know, like 5 feet tall standing next to me. And her eyes are huge, right? She looks totally shell-shocked. And I'm standing next to her and I'm talking to her for a little bit. And come to find out, that's Carrie Underwood, right after she had won American Idol. And I didn't know who she was. Had no idea who she was. So I've been hanging out with Carrie Underwood for a little bit. So really nice girl. Way more attractive in person than she even is on TV. Just an absolute lovely person to be around. And she was there and, she had some people come up and ask her for her autograph. That's the only way I even figured out who she was. People were asking her for her autograph. And I had the pen that she was using to sign these autographs backstage. So, this is an outdoor concert, and it's being headlined by one of my all-time favorite bands. Now, we'll get to that here in a little bit and why this is important or why it's coming up now. So, Carrie Underwood, amazing, sweet, but she had just won American Idol, and she was there to sing the national anthem. So, she was going to do the national anthem, kick off the entire thing, and that was it. That's all she was there to do. And the headliner of that concert was Social Distortion, which I'd always been a Social Distortion fan. They were, one of my favorites and everything else. So I'm there. I'm looking forward to meeting them. And, Crossfade was there, met them. They were great. And I'm looking forward to meeting Social Distortion. Social Distortion refused to come out of their trailer the entire time that we were all out there. And we had listeners who had won backstage passes to meet them, and they refused to come out and meet those fans. We had obviously employees of the radio stations that were supposed to do interviews and meet with them. They were denied those interviews. They weren't allowed to go talk to the band. People were supposed to introduce Social Distortion. Social Distortion had their stagehands rush the stage and set everything up and block anybody from going out to introduce Social Distortion representing the radio stations. Okay. There's actually a scuffle at one point. And so basically what we learned is this band that I had always been a fan of was super excited to meet that day. Had been out there as, one of the reasons that I was volunteering to be there. They suck as human beings. They are the absolute crappiest, most stuck up, snobbish rich people pretending to be your blue collar working man band that you could possibly think of. And so here I've got this young lady who had just won American Idol, was just coming into fame, Carrie Underwood, nicest person you could meet. You got Crossfade, who's a bit of an established band, but at the time, still brand new. In fact, we play one of their songs in our bumper rotation. Really good guys, great to hang out with. And then you got Social Distortion, the guys that pretend to be the band of the working man, right? And they are just a bunch of rich snobs, is essentially what it is. Violated all the contract agreements and everything else. Just really, they actually got expelled from radio in Las Vegas for a couple of years as a result of their conduct that day. Now, I'm relatively new in radio. I'd only been in for a couple of weeks, I think, and that all happened. So, it's my first real experience. Of course, sitting down talking with people who've been in the business a lot longer, like, yeah, you're going to run into that a lot. A lot of these people really suck, okay? And a lot of the people that I thought would suck on the talk side of things have been really nice. And a lot of people that I thought would be really nice have ended up sucking. And so this is kind of interesting. People ask me when we do an event with somebody, are they really, what they seem? And then I'm able to give you feedback on that. And so this brings me to this, because a fan of the once big band Social Distortion went to a recent show in Sacramento and says that the lead singer attacked and brutally beat him because he was a supporter of President Trump. Tim Hildebrand, who describes himself as a Republican farmer, says the singer, 56-year-old Mike Ness, began ripping on Trump and America during the band's July 15th show at Ace of Spades. Hildebrand took offense, according to CBS Local Sacramento. I stood pretty much with my silent protest with my middle finger up for the next two songs. Ness didn't like that, and in the video, you can see him motion Hildebrand to the stage, where the singer spits in his face. Hildebrand then says that the two were yelling at each other when Ness lunged towards him. Now, he says that he told Ness, I pretty much said that I paid for your music, not your politics. Then Ness takes his guitar off, jumps off of the stage, and proceeds to punch me multiple times in the head. Afterwards, the lifelong Social Distortion fan says that he was dragged out of the venue, but he's now filed a police report and plans to press charges. Good, sue him. Sue him for everything that he has. Now, again, this would have been bad enough had I heard it for the first time now. But as somebody who has personally witnessed this behavior by Ness, his roadies, and the rest of the band, I can personally attest that they have this type of attitude towards their fans. They do not care about their fans. All they care about is you giving them money. And there's a lot of people who are celebrities who are about that. It's okay. It is what it is. To them, it's a job. They don't care about you. And then there's others that will go out of their way for their fans because they realize the fans are the reason that they're made. But when you have a band who is sitting backstage where we had listeners who called in and won an opportunity to meet the band and hang out with the band backstage, and they locked their trailer door and refused to open the door and meet with any of them while making food and drink requests the entire time, and then not letting the stage or the station representatives introduce them per the contract, by the way. This is all in their contract. I've got firsthand knowledge with Ness and the rest of Social Distortion. They are just awful human beings. And so this doesn't surprise me in the absolute least. But I've told that story a lot of times, and I have had people ask me if I was exaggerating this. No, I'm not exaggerating anything that I have told you about that. I have no reason to. I have not listened to Social. I went home that night when that happened to me. God, what was this, 13 years ago? Maybe 14? I went home that night, and I got rid of every Social Distortion disc that I had. Every single one of them. I haven't listened to them since. Not even people covering their music. Just will not do it because of that experience. And this guy, he's going to their concert. He's a Trump supporter. The guy starts trashing America, trashing Trump, and he protests. They have words. The guy spits on him like a child, and then he assaults him. So I hope this guy sues the snot out of him, takes him for millions of dollars, and I hope he becomes very, very public. This is how Social Distortion treats their fans. We've got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
KC Hendrickson, News Talk 95.3, Michiana.